Justin and Nikki were the first transgender relationship that I knew of on 90 Day. And the story is crazy to say the least. So basically, they dated about 15 years ago when she first came to Moldova. By the way, Nikki is trans, male to female. So I think she was just passing through as a tourist. And back then, she was in a much earlier stage of her transition, so her voice was deeper. So she was less passing, basically. But she had had the full gender reassignment surgery very early on. And the reason Justin never knew she was trans, even though she was earlier on in her transition, is because physically her body was completely reassigned. And you'll hear him say in one of the episodes that everything down there is excellent craftsmanship. Like, you'd be none the wiser. They were intimate with each other many times, and he never had one iota that she might be trans, which I might find a little hard to believe, but then again, you know, it's possible. This time around, they reconnected, and that's when Nikki told him on the show that, you know what, I'm actually trans. Now, this made him freak out. He withdrew. He began to question himself. He was like, am I a normal guy? I guess he meant, like, am I a straight guy? He was psychologically traumatized, he said. And he needed 2 to 3 years away from Nikki to work on himself, find himself, make sense of the whole situation, basically. So he began meditating and reading books to help open his mind. And then he got back into a place where he said, you know what? I want a woman. I don't judge. It's about the woman, you know, nothing else. Everyone has a past, kind of thing. He decided, you know what? Nikki is a nice and sweet woman, and that overrides everything. Then everything was great on the show, right? They were all lovey-dovey, and, you know, he was like introducing her to his world, to his friends, to his family. And then, you know, he broke up with her via text. Yeah. So one day he just texts her out of the blue, a massive paragraph detailing why they can't be together. And it just completely comes out of nowhere. So she was in tears, and she was so confused. She texted him, and he never responded again. Now, at the tell-all, that was the first time they saw each other, and he was a complete asshole to her. I guess his, transphobia just was unleashed. He couldn't hide it anymore. Perhaps he only wanted to suppress it so he could get onto the show. So he started saying things like, Nikki doesn't know how to act like a straight lady in a straight relationship. In fact, Ashley, who I believe is also LGBTQ, had to step in because, she had to say, stop disrespecting Nikki, because every time you say something, you'll cause more damage to her. It was really crazy. He was saying some really out-of-pocket things. He said he wanted stability. He was sick of them breaking up 10 times a day, because they did make up and break up a lot. He was rude and insulting to Ashley. He was telling her that, you give man vibes. So during this tell-all, it comes out that Nikki flew out to Moldova one last time to spend his birthday with him, and they made love, and he put the ring back on her finger. So they were engaged at that point once again. And I do think that, he was just playing with her. He was just playing with her, picking her up, dropping her down. And yeah, he completely used her from what I can see. I mean, even Sean Robinson, who, by the way, is smoking hot, she could get it. Even she said, why would you go back? Nikki said, because I love him and I have a history with him. Gaslighting. So then Igor, oh, by the way, his real name, Justin's real name is Igor, but Nikki couldn't get with that, so she just christened him Justin, apparently because he resembled Justin Timberlake. I don't see it, but, whatever. Igor said, which part of me do you love? The upper part or the lower part? She's telling the world she loves you, and you come back with something crude like that. Boggles the mind. So then she came back with a punchy sting saying, well, your lower part ain't all that. Now, don't forget, Justin is the bad guy here, because he was even cheating around on her when they were in a relationship, when they were dating exclusively. He had 2 friends with benefits while she was filing the K1 visa for him, right? Now, Nikki believes that, he cheated on her after the K1 visa as well. He claims he's just been, bashing the bishop, and that's how he's been getting by the long distance between them. I mean, if you believe that, you'll believe anything. So he's been called a player and a manipulator by Nikki, and he was asked, Justin, are you fully at ease with Nikki being trans? And he said yes at the time. But, the actions don't line up. And don't forget, in one of the episodes, he did say that his heart is attracted to Nikki, and while that is the case, his physical body does not feel the same way. How many ways can a guy tell you he doesn't want you? I mean, there's the old adage that goes, don't let anyone tell you more than once that they don't want you. Can't really blame Nikki. She was in love. She really loved this guy. I think he was the first guy that seemed to accept her transition without it being like, some kind of fetish or making it weird or being judgmental. So she thought. He had all these conflicting transphobic and homophobic thoughts saying he's not gay or trans attracted, but Nikki is the exception. You know, let's be honest, he just wanted a submissive woman. I think that's what it was. And Nikki being American, you know, I just couldn't see it. I couldn't see it. Now, one thing that really touched me about this relationship, even though I'm glad it's over, was how raw and honest Nikki was the whole time, and how honest he was as well. He was quite honest, even though he did bad things. He was honest about them. He said he saw her cry 10 times a day and then change moods every day. To me, it sounds like it's the hormones and the whole lifelong commitment, which to him might feel like a burden being with a trans person. Because, you know, at the end of the day, people don't often consider what comes with being trans. There's a lot for that individual to take on as well. So finding a supportive and equally supportive partner can be challenging. By the end of the tell-all, the engagement was off and it was done and dusted. Here's some fun facts. So on one of the tell-alls, Sean asks everyone in the whole of the 90-day universe, who would you pick as a partner and to have a kid with? Nikki picked Jasmine, and Jasmine said she would happily carry Nikki's baby. She pretty much came out as bi right there, saying that she's had girlfriends in the past and is attracted to both men and women. And before admitting that, Jasmine said how she's always had a crush on Nikki, and that if she was her partner, she would lick her hoo-ha. That is what she said. But this was also a little bit of a dig at Justin, because it was really funny about going down on Nikki once he found out she was actually trans. Even though he said everything down there was done very well. Like and follow for more.